Thomas and Friends is known for its very wide range of characters, and almost every one of them are loved the most by a fan. Some characters are loved for how nice they are, like Edward. Some are adored for their character development, like Henry. And some of them just have nice designs, like Murdoch. My favourite character, until very recently, was Oliver the Western Engine, and I still believe he's a truly great character, but the character I like the most is... Fergus. And today, I'm going to explain why. Fergus is the only Season 7 newbie that didn't appear after his debut season. In fact, he only appeared in 3 episodes, 2 of which he's given the lead role. And despite that, I will go as far as to say that he is more complex than the other Season 7 characters, and any other character ever. In 2.5 episodes, so much is done with him. Bilben and Fergus is his debut, and it's 10 out of 10. In my headcanon, he's sent to the quarry to replace Boko, who died in the landslide in Heroes. He manages the trucks as though it's child's play, but Bill and Ben, to him, play like a child. Fergus's main character trait, his authoritarianism, is soon revealed. When Bill simply spills some stones, Fergus jumps all over him, and this ignites the twins' rebelliousness, and they intentionally misbehave to annoy him. This lands them into the trajectory of a landslide which Fergus warned them about. Fergus, however, instantly pushes them to safety and takes the hit himself, even though they put themselves in danger to spite him. What a champ, I would have just let them die. Even though the obvious moral of the episode is to listen to what you're being told, it's very implicit that Fergus was also at fault. He's so strict that he could drive anyone mad, even though he wasn't at all like this to Mavis, who respected him, and as a result they became friends quickly. That's only one episode, but this next one takes Fergus's character to a whole nother level. Fergus Breaks the Rules is utterly fantastic. It's my second favourite episode of the show. We've seen Fergus interact with 2 rebels, but what would happen if he was paired with a villain? In this episode, Diesel is brought back for the millionth time and is told to work with Fergus. Fergus is immediately suspicious of him, and when Diesel misbehaves, Fergus roars at him in a similar fashion to the previous episode. But this time, Diesel gets so annoyed with Fergus's bossiness that he hatches a plan to get him killed. He tells Fergus to go to the smelter's yard, but that it's the Fat Controller who ordered him to do so. Fergus immediately obeys, which tells us so much about him. He's not just strict to a point where he tells off any jerk, but he dedicates himself to rules and regulations so strongly that he'll follow them even if it leads to an obvious death trap. We then see him walking into the smelters where he is scared. Then the scrapyard diesels spring towards him and almost kill him, but Fergus finally knows when to disobey orders. He flees, not knowing where to go or who to trust, but knows he has to get away. He hides in an old mining area, which is treated much more seriously than Haunted Mine in Season 6, by the way. The Fat Controller finds out he's missing and sends Thomas to find him. When Fergus is found, he gets brought back home, where the truth is revealed and he goes back to his normal duties. This episode is really dark and shows how flawed of a character Fergus is. He's stern to a point where someone like Diesel would want to murder him. He also takes rules so seriously that he'll follow them even if it leads to his death. However, when he sees 2 killers running at him, he has the sense to skedaddle. Fergus may have these flaws, but he's still a decent person. He knows how to manage trucks, and when twats like Bill and Ben get themselves into danger, Fergus won't hesitate to save them even at his own expense. And if others follow the rules, he's cool about it. All these traits make up Fergus's complex character, and the fact that he only appears in a total of 3 episodes makes him all the more interesting. I've analysed his 2 main episodes, and the third one isn't as focused on his character, but rather his design, which is another reason as to why I love him. By George, Fergus has the most interesting design known to man. Season 7's newbies all had their good looks, but they were either tank or tender engine, and as a result, Fergus stands alone. He's based off the Aveling and Porter Blue Circle and looks way smaller than the other guys. This interesting basis also comes in handy for the third and last episode I'm going to be focusing on today, which is Salty Stormy Tale. I'm not doing an in-depth analysis on this one, as a certain Thomas content creator that I mention quite a lot has already got there first. Seriously, subscribe to the Thomas Cynic. If you haven't already, I'm very disappointed with you. In this episode, Fergus has a minor role where his flywheel, that red circular thingy, is used to power a broken generator, which works. That's all I have to say, but it shows that Fergus's design isn't only unique in appearance, but it also has just as much writing potential as his character. Those are the two main reasons as to why Fergus rocks, and now I'm going to talk about some smaller details that make him all the more fascinating. To be honest, this is really just a summary of my first chapter. Almost every interaction Fergus has had with someone is driven by his own character. That straight away tells us how well written he is. He doesn't respond to already existing characters, he acts and makes them respond to him. In his debut episode, his bossiness makes Bill and Ben tick, leading to a landslide which shows his heroic side. Meanwhile, Mavis, who obeys the rules, is kind to him and the two enjoy working together. In Fergus Breaks the Rules, Fergus meets Diesel, who is far worse than Bill and Ben. This is proven when Diesel gets so fed up with Fergus that he manipulates him and nearly gets him killed. The main reason that my review of Salty Stormy Tale was so short was because Fergus doesn't act in that episode, he responds to Salty. Their interactions aren't half bad, but as it's more of a Salty episode, Fergus is basically just a plot device, a well thought out one mind you. Fergus takes a liking to Salty for being on time, so that's a start. In short, Fergus has had so many amazing dynamics with the other characters in just 2.5 episodes. And finally, the one last thing I like about him is this. Fergus's theme is such a banger, especially the ones made by Stepney Bulstrode Music and Instrument Maniac, both linked in the description. I bop to these compositions every night to relax, and you should too. They did often distract me from typing this script, but as a result I've included them in this video for you to enjoy as well, if you're not interested in my points of course. And that's it. Fergus is, in my opinion, a perfect Thomas character. His design is incredibly fascinating and makes him stand out amongst a crowd, and has also been a vital role for an episode. His 2 episodes are amazing as it shows how complex he is, and how he rubs off every character he meets. His flaws can cause problems worth avoiding, but his strengths are the solutions to them. And that is why Fergus is my favourite character of Thomas and Friends. And that's today's video. I'm gonna go now and do another 10 hours worth of jamming to different variations of Fergus's theme. See you all later.